90 years of quality health. What's the key word? Quality. Imagine having predictable health where you know exactly what you could be doing 10 or 20 years from now. You could be running on the beach with your spouse, playing with your grandkids, traveling, retiring, enjoying life. Imagine, as you age, that you're not dependent on a drug to cover the symptoms or a medication. You're not having surgeries. Because you have your health, your greatest asset, you're literally saving hundreds of thousands of dollars that otherwise would have been spent on medical bills or sick debt, which is also the #1 cause of bankruptcy. Imagine that. Here's a question. Do you believe that it's possible for someone to live that life? Do you believe that you specifically are capable of reaching and having that life? Most importantly, are you worthy of that? Do you believe inside, I do deserve to have a life like that? The life that you want to have, that believe you can. But no one's led you or given you information to get there. I'm Dr. O'Brien, and I would love to invite you to dinner with me at the Chart House Lakeville. In this dinner, we will go over the 4 major questions that all of us have to answer at some time in our lives. So it's really better that we ask them now, right, than later on. I had to answer these questions as my patients have when we were sick. And it's not okay, it's not good. But because we got these 4 questions down, we're here, we're healthy, we're whole, we can spread this message. We're going to go over why people are struggling with their health, struggling to lose weight, struggling to get off medication. And I want to show you how to change that around and get better results really fast. I'll go over the top 3 killers in the USA today. These are the top 3 most dangerous things to you and your loved ones. I'm going to show you how to avoid them by 95%. Then, from there, we'll show you to lead a long quality of life, vitality, do the things that you want to do, and not spend hundreds of thousands of dollars because you're avoiding drugs, avoiding surgery, and you won't have to go into debt. Like I said, major debt is sick debt and medical bills. So please join me. The dinner's on me. I'll take care of it. We'll have a fantastic night. G'day there. Today's topic is, what is chiropractic? We're going to really focus today and answer those questions for you. And for some of you, I may even be a little, offending to you, because it's going to butt up against what you believe health is, what you current concepts or your paradigm of health. And for most of the people, it's going to really make more sense. We do a lot of readings. I've been around in chiropractic for about 20 years. I've had practice in Australia, and I came out to the United States in 1998. And so I've been in chiropractic for a long time. And I've developed things in chiropractic, and I've created an amazing mesh of the philosophy and the principle. And because I've shared that with you and with my patients, and you're listening to this right now, anybody that has heard or has listened to the principle of chiropractic not only has changed their life, but we've seen amazing healings when you take all responsibility for your health. And so today we're going to talk about that. We're going to educate you, we're going to show you and address those causes. Okay. So what is chiropractic? Well, it started in 1895. It's been around over 100 years. And unfortunately, from my readings, we know statistically that only about 10 to 15% of you in our community use chiropractic. And it's been around 100 years. You think we would get this amazing stranglehold, but no. And there's forces at play. And we'll address those right now. What are they? It's called money. And it's called advertising. And so it's called, we are indoctrinated through the advertising industry from big pharmacology to believe that a drug will mask and reduce a symptom. And because we feel that and we get relief in those symptoms, we feel vindicated that that must be health care. Unfortunately, you're getting lied to. Unfortunately, you've missed the point. So if you've missed that point and you're asking yourself, why is he saying this? Then now is your opportunity to open up your mind and your heart and learn the principle of chiropractic. See, we're not here to address any symptom, your headache, your neck pain, your high blood pressure, your irritable bowel, your constipation, or your diarrhea. None of them at all. And you might say, different concept. I'm used to going somewhere when I have a symptom to get treatment for that symptom. You're right. And that is the barrier. That is your mistake. So, why would I pose it to you that we have zero desire to really look at your symptoms? Great question. Here's the answer. Can you have a clogged artery in your heart and completely not feel it? Of course you can. Can you have stage 1 or 2 or even 3 cancer that will kill you in your body and have no knowledge, no symptoms? Yes, of course you can. So therein lies the answer, doesn't it? Disease is a process. So as that disease processes, you start to get sicker and more loss of function in your body. Then you develop a symptom. And like your culture and like our advertising and like we're trained to believe our whole life is we have a symptom and we are sick. We're not well. And so that is when you believe that you are unhealthy. You're in crisis. And you throw your hands up in the air and say, why have I got cancer? What has struck me? Why did this happen to me? And we plead and we go through denial and we go through all sorts of situations and thought processes. But you always have failed to ask that one specific question. What and how did my body develop this disease? And that is where the chiropractor and chiropractic must teach you. You have to diverge from the path that is most commonly followed in our culture. Chiropractic, your brain heals through the body. Your brain has what is called electrical impulse, and it flows through the brain stem, spinal cord, and out these nerves to every cell, every tissue, and every organ. You started with 2 cells, 280 days. Your body turned into 70 trillion cells. No help at all. There was nobody telling it what to do, giving a pill or a procedure, a tincture or a potion. Your body created itself. The first organ was the brain, and that then created in 280 days every single function. You were born a healthy human being. That electrical flow is called innate intelligence. What that means is that intelligence gives to matter all properties of life, health, and healing. You ever ask yourself the question, what is the difference between a living person and a dead person? Well, there it is. You did, right there. It is the electrical flow or the life force. So your body will always give to that matter 100% continuous properties of life, health, and healing. It will organize that tissue while you're alive. And it flows all through there, and you have that inside of you. And what you don't know is that your body regenerates. So in a few months, your organs grow. A few months, you get new blood cells. A heart regrows. Your skin regrows. And over 7 years, your entire body has regenerated. So here is something that might just blow your mind. So, if you drink Monster Energy drinks and you have a high-fat diet, high carbs, you're eating packaged food, processed food, fast food. You're not taking exercise and you're not stretching your body. And importantly, you may have a scoliosis or a curvature or some type of misalignment or loss of the normal curve, a subluxation, crushing and choking the life force, the nerve flow from brain down to your cells. How might your cells grow? So you now know cells regenerate. And if you're putting toxins in that and you're feeding it junk or garbage and you have interference on your spine affecting that nerve flow that causes life, health and healing, how might those cells grow? Good or bad? Clearly, that is the process of disease. There's damage, there's trauma. And as those cells replicate, they will replicate poorly. They cannot excrete toxins. They start to change their morphology, how they look. And slowly, over time, as you develop more and more diseased, damaged cells, loss of functions, by the time you have lost 40% of function, that's that interface where you start to get a headache or a migraine. You hurt, you have high blood pressure, irritable bowel constipation. You are in crisis. And like most people, what do? Of course, you take a pill or a potion. And you're suppressing those symptoms. You're pushing them down and you're masking them instead of looking at the cause. See, you never looked at your spine. You never looked at your diet. You never looked at your exercise or the fluids that you were feeding yourself or stresses in your body. And all the while, you're asking yourself, why am I getting sicker and sicker and I'm losing more energy? I don't feel the same way. I'm overweight. I can't lose that weight. You know, I'm getting old. Garbage. What you are having is a sick lifestyle, a disease process in your body. So let's wake up. Let's pay attention. It's time for you to bring out your ability to heal yourself. It's time for you to take that responsibility. We do that right here. We get amazing results and we get people off of drugs. We prevent surgeries. We get amazing healings where other methods have failed. And we do that simply because of the principle of chiropractic, what we believe in. And it is not me. I am not going to accept that I'm amazing and I get these amazing healings and that is me. No. You are absolutely, completely mistaken if you believe that I heal you. Because the truth of the matter is this. You can put the best scientists in the whole world, the best doctors, the best pharmacological, the best chiropractors, and you can ask them one thing. How can we heal and bring back to life a dead body? You can't. Because the body heals from within. And we've got to look at the cause of disease, not the effect, which is symptoms. Which is why we say symptoms we are not into. We believe in the fact that your body has the amazing ability to heal inside it. You are created perfect. You have all the tools that you need right inside of you. Your brain sends impulses down the spinal cord, out to every cell, every tissue, and every organ. Today when you eat food, you had that lunch. That is energy. That energy, those vitamins, those minerals, those nutrients, your body digests, metabolizes, and your brain coordinates that energy to be used for new cellular growth. So therefore, think about this. If I'm talking directly to you, and you're that person that is sick and diseased, and you don't want to live that way, how do you want to be reborn? What life do you want to have? Do you want to have certainty of living 80 and 90 years of quality of life, the life that you were created to lead? Take that vacation with your family, with your wife. Be alive and functioning to play golf or tennis, 80 and 90. And to take those trips and to play with your grandkids. Maybe you question that. Maybe you don't feel worthy of that. Maybe you don't believe that's possible. You're defeated already. Because in my practice, we see that every day. We see thousands of people each and every week over years, and we watch people have amazing lives. We watch people do this, and here is how they achieve that. They understand the principle. They come in, we assess their body. We find the area of damage that's interfering with their nervous system, putting pressure on the spine, creating abnormal electrical flow, reducing it. Like a dimmer switch, it cuts the power to a light, dulling it. If your power is getting cut, reduced to your organ, will it work good or bad? The answer is obvious. If the head gets cut off, you're alive or dead, simply dead. If the nerve to the heart gets cut completely, what happens to the heart? Does it beat or stop beating? Correct, it stops. If it's compressed, reducing that flow, that energy, that innate intelligence that offers all life, health, and healing, coordination, and growth of your cellular tissue, will it work properly or improperly? And of course, improperly. How you can get reborn and how your body can make these amazing changes is you will take that responsibility. You will understand that symptoms are no longer how you will base your health upon. You will understand that your body has all the tools it needs inside of you. It heals from within. We find and we remove the vertebral subluxation, affecting nerve energy that creates all life, health, and healing. You will change your habits. You will start to eat healthy foods. You will start to exercise and stretch and put nothing but phenomenal liquids, water into your body. Reduces stresses into your life. And knowing now that as you start to feed your body good food, you reduce toxins that you're putting into it. You're exercising it, you're stretching it, and most importantly, you're allowing the brain to coordinate all of that and start to create new cells. As those old disease cells start to slough off and die, new healthier cells start to come in and replace. So it's a constant change over time. And so as your organs start to regrow, do you think if you're following better lifestyle with nerve flow, diet, exercise, stretching, reduce toxins, water, do you think your cells will grow in healthier or more diseased? See, I know that your body has that ability inside it. I can tell you story after story of life changes, but do you believe it? Do you feel worthy? Are you challenging yourself and your value system? Or are you questioning this? Are you, golly, what's he really talking about? My gosh, how dare he talk about drugs in that manner? Well, it's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to smell the coffee. It's time for you to know this fact. Medical procedures and prescription drugs kills 999,936 people annually. It's not me. Go look up Death by Medicine, Dr. Gary Null, and a bunch of medical doctors. And that puts him in number one place for the leading killer in the United States today. And that's an external study. Should you question that? Hey, let's cite a second study. It's an internal study, self-reported. 250,000 people a year, a jumbo jet every day crashing and killing the entire occupants. Now, that puts them in the third place, behind cancer and behind heart disease. So you can go and you can challenge these statements, but I suggest you do your research. I suggest you ask yourself one question. Why are you challenging this? Why do you believe that the nervous system is not the healer? Why do you believe not stretching, not exercising, not eating healthy, putting toxins into your body is going to heal you? And so, just like when you cut your finger, what happens is you will go to the doctor and they will put a stitch in. They will give you antibiotics because you might get an infection. Not have, but might. Wrap it up. Give you a tetanus shot because, you never know. And then you go back, a week later and you take the stitch out and you unwrap it and that cut has healed. So let me ask you this question. Did the stitch, did the antibiotic, did the bandage or the tetanus shot heal that body? And if you're really, really paying attention and you're learning, the answer is none of the above. How could they? It is your body that heals. It is your immune system that fights infection. Yes, of course, the bandage is a great idea to keep it clean. No, the antibiotic is not a great idea. It is not a good idea prophylactic. Just go Google the overuse of antibiotics and superbugs today. Your body heals from within. Let's go to the butcher saw and let's take a steak and let's cut it and let's stitch it up, give it an injection of hormones, give it antibiotics, give it a tetanus shot, and let's unwrap it 9 days later. Well, did it heal? I don't believe it did. It probably stinks. And so why? What's the difference? And you have to go back to what? You have to go back to the electrical flow over your spinal cord and out these spinal nerves through your peripheral nervous system to every cell, tissue, and organ, and you are alive. All 70 trillion cells are alive for one reason only: your central nervous system. And that is why the steak did not heal. And so this is how we help you change and improve your entire quality of life. When you come into our practice, we will educate you and we will orientate you to the simple concept of what is health. When you accept that and you learn, we're not looking for your symptoms, but looking at the cause of the imbalance that has led you slowly from health to sickness, to disease. Knowing that your body has an amazing inborn ability to regenerate and to re-heal itself, and you remove those barriers, you will start to get your life on track. You will start to feel better. You will start to get off of blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid medications. You will start to get your life back. You will start to feel well, and you will start to express optimal life, God-given life, and what you were supposed to do and how you were created to live. That is not me. That comes from within you. We will lead you. We will show you. We will teach you those principles. And when you accept that and you follow that lifestyle, where and how will you be reborn in 14 months? Hey, thanks very much for listening. I'm Dr. O'Brien. Stay tuned. Hi there, Dr. O'Brien. Just wanted to reach out and give you some information today. After doing my hourly reading and meditation or whatever I do in my morning hours, it came to me today that that most people are really focusing completely backwards. Most people are adapting, and so they're not planning and allowing their life to adapt to that plan. For instance, most people, when it comes to their health, are reactive. When they have a headache, when they have a migraine, when they have high blood pressure, irritable bowel, or constipation, or those major symptoms and those major diseases that we get. And so unfortunately, we go through life and we get these sicknesses, and then we just adapt to them and think they're normal. We learn to live with that. Or we take a pill to mask that. Instead of looking at how did that happen and planning to prevent that, we're reacting to that. And that's why today, unfortunately, we have so much disease. We have obesity, childhood obesity, diabetes type 2, horrific cancers and horrific numbers of heart disease and strokes in our country right now. In every corner we look, we see disease. And so unfortunately, we are reacting or adapting to things in our life. We need to change. We need to create a plan. Plan, then adapt. So we'll create a 5-step plan which revolves around helping you with certainty live 80 and 90 years of quality of life, where you have 95+% of beating the top 3 killers and leading the life that you're created to lead. So our 5-step plan is quite simple. We want to look at your central nervous system, which is housed inside the spine. We want to make sure that is healthy. We want to make sure that there's no impingement to the nerves that are really feeding every part of your body and telling every cell and every tissue and every organ how to function. Today, when you had a meal, that nervous system organizes that food and converts it into energy and uses it to create more cells or to keep the cells in your body alive. But you don't think about yourself that way. So you really need to learn about your central nervous system and all the processes attached to that. And that's what we're going to teach you in our office first and foremost. 2 is stretching. You have to learn a stretching protocol and implement that. And then 3 is a good home and routine and exercise program to stimulate your nervous system, to allow your body to have normal composition, to have good cardiovascular health, to have good strength and endurance. And also, you'll need to make sure that you have a terrific diet. You've got to feed yourself rock star fuel, because without the right foods, how can you expect to have your body, your nervous system, create normal and healthy and vibrant cells? You can't. That's just ridiculous. But most people aren't planning for that. They're not eating for that, and we're certainly, as a culture, not looking like we do that. It's time to change. It's time for you to make a commitment. It's time for you to learn, take action, take responsibility for your health. Start planning for tomorrow. Don't react to when you get a disease. That is no way to live a life. And unfortunately, we're in an epidemic of these diseases, and we can't allow that to happen. So this is why we do our Dinner with the Doctor talk. This is why we partner with the most amazing experts in our community to deliver the greatest quality of care that can help you with certainly lead a great lifestyle. Our next dinner talk's coming up. It's time for you to get involved. All you have to do is just register, and you can check on my website. You can click on many different ways to do that with the emails that we've sent you. So looking forward to seeing you at the Chart House for our next most amazing dinner talk, and welcome aboard. Hey, and welcome. Today we're going to go over how do we help people prevent disease? How do we get people off of drugs? How do we help people with high blood pressure, cholesterol, irritable bowel, constipation, diarrhea. Sitting here listening to me, you may be asking yourself a couple of questions. How does the chiropractor do that? Primarily through a fundamental lack of understanding or education in our community. Most people have that question because they just don't know. Which is why we do our Dinner with the Doctor talk to educate you, your family, your friends, our community, what you are missing, which is the most amazing gift that every person on earth has, and how chiropractic can help every person. But most people have not been exposed or have heard this story, so I'm about to tell it to you. See, the chiropractor looks at the most fundamental, basic concept of life. And what that is your central nervous system. And for you that are sitting out there wanting to know what that happens to be, it is your brain and your spinal cord. You see, your brain has an extension down through the skull. And that's a hole called the foramen magnum. And so that hole creates an opening where the brain stem turns into the spinal cord that runs all the way down to your tailbone. And between each vertebrae, there are 24 movable vertebrae in your body, exits a nerve root, one right and one left. And so they go out to your whole body. And that is the electrical communication pathway from brain down through the spinal cord and then out these nerves to every cell and every tissue and every organ of your body. Now, there's not one function of your body that is not under the control of your central nervous system. Your heart beats, you breathe. You will digest food today and turn that into energy and to create new cells for your body as old cells will die. And that's all under the most amazing, powerful control of your brain and central nervous system. You see, the best doctor lies inside of you. It is, and it does know everything that you need right now. So what happens is we get an interference to that nervous system. The chiropractor calls that a subluxation. And what a subluxation is, it's a tiny misalignment of a bone. And that bone will compress, reduce, and interfere with the electrical impulses coming from your brain down that spinal cord and then out those nerves to every cell and tissue and organ. So if you have a nerve, and let's just say that nerve was to your heart and it was reduced, would your heart work normal or abnormal? Well, of course, the answer is abnormal. And so when that is abnormally giving it impulses to tell it how to function, what you don't know or are aware is that those cells over time will change. See, your body and your organism is constantly having cells that are dying. If I scratch my skin, I will slough off hundreds of thousands of dead skin cells. My heart cells will last about 90 days. My blood cells about 120 days. But guess what? Don't worry, folks, because new ones are growing and new ones will replace the old ones. And how does that happen? Let's go back to the central nervous system once again. So now you have an aberrated, a compressed nerve root telling your cells how to grow. Will they grow normally? No, they won't. They grow damaged, they grow diseased. And so over time, when you get more and more diseased and more damaged cells, this eventually, by the time you've lost about 40% function, is the interface at which you start to develop a symptom, a pain, you hurt. Whether that is a pain from a headache or a neck pain or a migraine, or whether that is a rash on your arm called psoriasis, or whether that is irritation and inflammation internally in your intestines called irritable bowel syndrome, or whether it is a manifestation of what they term high blood pressure. Regardless of whatever it is called, it is simply a disease process. And unfortunately, we do this to ourselves 95% of the time by not knowing that we have a subluxation, not knowing that the spine is interfering and crushing the electrical flows to the cell, interfering with cellular reorganization and cellular growth. We don't pay attention to the fact that we're feeding ourselves terrible foods, foods that will clog our arteries, that will cause us toxic insult, that will irritate our bowels or will create cancer cells in our body to manifest. As disease continually manifests, now we'll get back to you, the average person. So the average person goes through their whole life being taught that when you look good and you feel good, you're healthy. So when you don't know what a subluxation is and the crippling effects that can have on your spine, your nervous system, and your health, over time, causing cell and tissue and organ damage and destruction. Eventually, when you get to that 40% cell, tissue, and organ disease or loss of function, again, that interface where you start to hurt, the average person is taught to do what? What do we hear from our parents, or what do we hear from our friends? I have a headache. Oh, do you want some what? Advil? Or on television, it's a war between pharmaceutical companies of Aleve or Advil or Tylenol or ibuprofen. And so you are indoctrinated. You are advertised to and marketed to hundreds of times every day. Challenge yourself today. Look at the print media, radio, television, billboards about the drugs that you'll see, telling you to take this to alleviate, suppress the symptoms. And so when you just take a pill to suppress the symptoms, is the problem still there, or did it go away? Of course, it's still there. So are you going to get sicker, or are you going to get healthier over time? Of course, the answer is simple. You will get sicker over time, but you, the average person, doesn't realize this. And so you take that Advil for the headache or the indigestion or the back pain or that high blood pressure medication to lower that blood pressure, to mask heart disease. Then over the course of time, our bodies continually get more damaged. We continually have worse and worse neurological flow for cell, tissue, and organ health. We continually poison our bodies with poor foods, and we have toxins such as drugs or chemicals in the food that we eat. And over time, our bodies get more and more insulted. And so what starts to happen is people get worse and they get worse and they get worse. And, sometimes they have a terrible quality of life, or they do die prematurely from heart disease or some other forms of disease. So you see, the pathway that most people take on what they believe health to be is completely wrong. It's completely based upon a fraudulent concept that drugs are healthy, and that is just not true. So in our world, what we need to do and have to educate you is, how do you take care of your body? Well, first and foremost, it starts with a 5-process, 5-step plan of action that will not only allow you to be the healthiest that you've been in decades or years, but your children to have certainty your family to have a certainty of living 80 or 90 years and preventing the top 3 killers and leading a quality of life that you were created to lead. And it starts with one simple premise. You have to understand what a subluxation is and how, if the body gets a subluxation where the body gets misaligned, pinching these vital nerves that go to the organs, where you've lost these beautiful curves in the neck, pinching those nerves, that you don't feel that. And how do you get these subluxations? Well, you were all born, weren't you? Of course, you might say. And of course, a large number of children get subluxations in the atlas, right here at the base of the skull, surrounding the brainstem, the most important part and the most prolific communication area from brain to body. All messages of life, health and healing come through that area. So there's no wonder a lot of children have colic or issues with their stomach or reflux or constipation or screaming after they eat. And so we've seen all these cases in our practice where we look at the upper neck for a subluxation, shutting down the nerve flow, affecting the way the child's body functions. Well, the next part is you all learned to walk, didn't you? And so you fell over literally hundreds of times a day, falling on your pelvis, crushing that pelvis. And so that trauma created a subluxation, affecting the lower part of the back that goes out to the bowels. So you might have no pain here. You might not have sciatica, low back pain, but you could have issues with constipation or diarrhea, irritable bowel. You could have issues with bladder frequency and urgency. You can also have issue with the reproductive organs. In females, that might be period pain or inability to fall pregnant, and men could be erectile dysfunction. And you had no idea that was coming from the nervous system because no one has taken the time to sit you down and educate you about the power of how your body truly works. Instead, you are educated to take a pill, a potion, or a lotion to address those symptoms. And so let's make this fundamentally clear. I couldn't care less that you have a symptom. Well, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, wow, that is not compassion or caring. You see, that statement is to invoke in you that response, because I want you to understand once and for all that the symptom is the effect. So do we want to chase the effect around, or would you like to look at what's causing that? You see, if I could reach through the camera, take your arm and pinch it firmly and hardly, and you would feel pain, would you want me to give you an Advil or inject it with Novocaine or cut it out? Clearly the answer's obvious. Just stop pinching my arm, you might tell me. Well, you see, that's what I'm telling you. I don't want to chase your symptoms around. We don't believe in medication of symptoms because we're not suppressing it. We want to address the cause. And so when we find the cause and we remove that and you allow your nerves to start to flow better to your cells, you're going to get better function of the organs. The cellular tissue is going to metabolize, excrete, and reproduce the way it was created and designed to do. When you start to exercise, you start to feed it good food, and you start to stretch, your nervous system is going to take that information, and over the course of the 14 months it takes for all vital organs to regrow, you will now start to lay down healthier cells in place of the old disease cells that are dying and sloughing off. So your body has that amazing ability to heal, and no one's telling you this. So if you would like to find out about how you can take control of your life, regain health and remove disease, you've just, for the first time, finally heard what health really is and how you can take responsibility and change your life. We will help you do it. We will lead you down that path. I'll ask you to come to our dinner talk the dinner with the doctor, we provide an amazing meal at the Chart House, and we'll teach you these strategies, we'll teach you these principles, we'll lead you down the path. What is it worth to know with certainty that every human being has the potential inside them to be healthy? Unfortunately, too many of you aren't living up to your potential. You have subluxations that are compressing your expression of life. You are feeding yourself pathetic food that's clogging your arteries, that is creating lack of energy, and is not allowing cellular growth to work. You're poisoning yourself with preservatives, sugar, and salts that not only cause acidic environment, which you'll need to learn creates cancer, but it's causing type 2 diabetes. You are not taking time to take care of your mental health, so stress in your life. You're reacting to everything. You're uptight. You're always irritable. And so your internal environment is suffering. You need to ask yourself one question. How do you want to age? And what is your health worth? You see, health is your most important asset. And you have that. You are charged with the responsibility of your life, your family's life, to lead and teach them how to be healthy. As am I. I'm here because some man, Dr. Scott, took the time to share this principle with me, the one that I'm sharing with you. Because he shared that with me, and because my mother's love of taking me to her doctor when I had severe injuries from playing football in Australia, and that man teaching me this, I stand here before you teaching you this. So you see, I've changed thousands of lives, and I've helped add millions of quality of years to those lives. And we see thousands of patients in my practice, and we get these amazing results, not because of me and being amazing, but because of the principles that we believe in. The same fundamentally simple principles that you too can take charge and regain your health. I look forward for you responding and coming to our dinner talk at the Chart House. You can click on the emails and register. You can call my office. You can literally come many different ways. But we want to see you there. So today we really want to focus on what does it mean to believe. So we really want to start with a simple concept, a simple story that you've all seen, you've all heard. You know, you go to a circus and there's like a knife thrower, an axe thrower, whatever it happens to be. And you know, you're watching him throw these knives and he's hitting the bullseye every single time. And you know, the ringmaster's trying to drum everybody up and get them excited, and they say, hands up those that believe, you know, he's going to hit the bullseye with that knife. Well, you know, everybody pretty much puts their hands up. And then he says, well, hands up those that want to come down and hold a balloon in front of him while he, you know, throws that knife. And there's, you know, 10 or 20% of people kind of might do that. You know, a lot of people will get a little skittish. And then there's the one person, you know, when the ringmaster says, who would like to come up here, put the balloon in their mouth, stand side on, and have that guy throw that knife right by your head, pop that balloon, hit the bullseye. Well, there's usually only one guy or gal that would do that. You see, of the initial people, they saw and they witnessed, so they all believe it, they saw it. But when it came to, would you believe that he could do it while you stood there, that belief system went down. You know, only 20% of people thought, yeah, he might be able to do that. But there was only one person that was willing to get out, stand side on, because he knew that that person would throw that knife and bam, pop that balloon and hit that bullseye. He didn't believe he knew. So the founder of chiropractic, B.J. Palmer, was doing a huge presentation to a large congregation down in Davenport, Iowa, hundreds and hundreds of people. And so he was explaining how the body worked and how the nervous system functions. He was explaining what he's been developing and how he's been getting these amazing results with patients that have been coming to see him with cancer or diabetes or blood pressure, or all sorts of sickness or ailments. And so at the end of the talk, the head pastor asked him one question. He said, BJ, do you believe in God? And BJ, looked at him and he said, no. Could you imagine how that went over? Abruptly, the lecture ended. There was not much more questions. There was kind of that hush that comes over, that, oh my gosh, what did he just say? And so he left. Well, the next day, the three pastors came over and they said, BJ, we kind of know that you believe in God, but yesterday, we want to ask you, why did you say that you don't believe in God? Well, simply, he said this. He said, do you believe that the sun will come up tomorrow, it's going to rain next week? You see, I don't know, but I have a belief that the sun will rise tomorrow, you see. And most of us, when we have a belief, we might be 99 or 98% sure that something's going to happen, but there might be that slight doubt, that 1 or that 2% chance that it might not rain next week, or God forbid that the sun just stops shining because the gases all burn up. Okay, now that's possible and probable. Science tells us that. So because you don't know, you have to believe in something, and you have to believe that it will occur. See, he said to them, I don't believe there's a God. I know there's a God. See, there's a very fine difference that makes all the difference between that 1 to 2% of belief versus knowing. So when we challenge you, we're going to put in front of you these concepts or ideas. So for you guys, do you believe chiropractic will help you? Do you believe that a subluxation causes disease? Do you believe that when a subluxation crushes the nerve to the heart, it's going to alter heart cells, causing disease? Or if that nerve goes to the bowels, it's going to change morphology, and that can change cellular tissue into cancerous tissues. Do you believe, or do you just know? See, I know that when you have damage on your central nervous system, it is going to cause cell, tissue, and organ disease. I know that when you remove that pressure on your nervous system, it is going to allow your body to allow the intelligence from your brain to travel over that brainstem, down the spinal cord, and out these nerves to every cell, tissue, and organ. I know that your body will give to these cells intelligence to create it to function at its optimal capacity. And I know when you put toxins in your body, when you put preservatives and chemicals into your body, you are causing, again, cells to become diseased. You are causing cells to change structure and function. They can't work properly, and that causes disease. Let me challenge you right there. You know toxins cause disease. Cyanide kills you. Lead poisons you. But do you believe a subluxation, choking your nervous system, causes cell, tissue, organ damage and disease? See, I don't believe that, I know that. Science proves that. This is the fundamental concept between you getting okay results and getting amazing results is knowing that your body can be healthy, taking the responsibility to come and get checked, your children checked, your family checked, get adjusted, allow your nervous system to tell your cells how to work. To take that responsibility, to put good food into your body, to allow your nervous system to take that food and create new cells. Not pathetic food, not garbage or toxins like the average American is doing. It's time to take responsibility. It's time to listen. It's time to change. It's time to start exercising. And it's time to start stretching. And it's time to stop toxic overload and stresses to your body. See, I don't believe that if you follow that 5-step strategy, you'll be healthy. I know that you'll be healthy. So, what do you know? Do you know that you're worthy? Do you know that you're capable? And are you willing to change your life? Welcome. We'd love to see you. You can give us a call, 952-224-9501. Come and consult with us. Or come to one of our dinner talks at the Chart House. We hold them once a month. You can call the office. You can check on our Facebook, or you can click to one of our emails to come into one of our amazing talks. Thanks so much. Look forward to talking to you soon. Hi there, welcome. Today's Monday, April the 18th, and I wanted to invite you guys out to our next dinner talk. That's coming up next Monday, April the 25th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Chart House. Today, we unfortunately are really the sickest that we've ever been. We've got terrible skyrocketing obesity rates in children and adults. Our diets just suck. We got terrible cancer rates and heart disease, and it's just unacceptable. So I want to invite you all out to dinner with us so we can teach the true principles of what health really is. We will create a life where you can have a future 30, 40 years from now. You're 60 or 70 or 80, and you're playing golf, you're exercising, you're jogging, you're taking those trips with your spouse, and you're playing with your grandkids. This is all true. It can really happen. But we have to take control of our health back again. And so we're going to invite you out to the Chart House. I'll pay for dinner, and you can bring up to 3 of your friends. And the whole goal is to teach you what health really is. What's the number one mistake you've been making, how you think about health? And then how can you beat these top 3 killers with absolute certainty? So come and join us at the Chart House next Monday, April the 25th at 7 p.m. Look forward to seeing you there, mate. Thanks.